Hello everyone, good morning and welcome to this session and welcome everyone to the summit. Started off with great energy and excitement already. I'm delighted to be joined here this morning by Andrew Alexander. Andrew is the Executive General Manager for Partnering, Integration and Quality at Insurance Australia Group. Welcome Andrew, thanks for joining. We're going to have a session here today to just talk about the value of engineering excellence, what it means to great corporations like IAG, and what it means to all of us that have a strong interest in engineering. Before we start, I'd love to just acknowledge the traditional landowners of the land we're on here today. Of course, here in Sydney, it's the land of the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, and I'd like to pay my respects to their elders past, present, and emerging. So, we've got about 4 or 5 questions here today. We're just going to sort of talk through together in this format. Just before we do, by way of introduction, so Andrew's a sort of a seasoned transformation and technology executive who's got a track record in strategy, technology transformation and execution experiences, leading technology executive teams, and also a little bit around sort of turnaround projects, I think. Quite a wide experience globally as well. Andrew's travelled with his work. He's done a lot of work in the United Kingdom, Western Europe, the US, and then most recently with IAG here in Australia, where Andrew's been part of the IAG Group Technology and Operations Leadership Team. I'm Matt, I'm from PwC. I'm a cloud and digital partner in our consulting practice. Started off as a software engineer a few years ago, let's say, and had a strong experience working with software in the telecoms technology sector, both in the UK and Europe, where we've stood up a lot of core systems for big telco partners, where software was really at the heart of what we were delivering. And I spent a lot of time working in the establishment of a lot of the big software centers in India, where a lot of our organizations leveraged the great software engineering excellence and capability there. And then the last 15 or so years with my time here in Australia at PwC, I've led a number of technology strategy through execution transformations with great clients like IAG, working alongside CIOs. So, as we start, we're going to go through, like I said, 4 or 5 key questions. But before we do, Andrew, maybe just tell us a little bit about your role at IAG and tell us a tiny bit about Insurance Australia Group.
Yeah, thanks Matt, and thanks to AWS and PwC for giving us this opportunity to connect this morning. It's great to see you all here. So IAG, I think one of my learnings about Australia is we love a good 3-letter summary. I quite often have to remind my wife that I don't work for IGA, so IAG. Insurance Australia Group, you know, we're one of the big general insurers in Australia and New Zealand. We have a number of direct brands where we sell general insurance, motor and home direct to customer, and then we have multiple brands that we partner with, along with a significant broker channel to market for insurance. We are a very purpose-led organization, so IAG's purpose is to make your world a safer place, and that's something we really live by, and you know that well, Matt. And as part of that, one of our ambitions is to be a leading digital general insurer, and I guess one of the things keen to speak about this morning is the importance of engineering as part of that digital general insurance ambition. So value through digital is one of the major strategic pillars that IAG has as an organization. The brands that you in Sydney here may be more familiar with is NRMA Insurance. They are one of our major brands in which we're extremely proud of, and we have a number of other direct brands. In New Zealand, we have brands AMI and State, which we're very proud of in the New Zealand business, which is a majority of our direct-to-consumer business. So myself, I work as part of the technology and operations group leadership team, so we cover off anything really that for IAG at a group scale, whether it be technology delivery, platforms, running platforms, engineering, also some of the operational aspects, property procurement, processes across the group. Myself and a number of colleagues run that operation for IAG, both in Australia and New Zealand. But that's my first job, is being part of that leadership team and helping the group with that activity. And then my second and main responsibility is leading partnering, integration and quality, as you rightly called out, where we really seek to look at getting value from partnerships across our business, both on the corporate side and in the technology side. I have responsibility for all of the integrations and the engineering for integrations across IAG, and I have a major part to my job which is about quality, and quality in everything that we do in technology and operations at IAG, engineering being a big part of that, and trying to continuously engineer for quality. So hopefully that gives you a bit of a flavor.
Fantastic. Yeah, no, great. And we're obviously delighted to be one of your partners, so thank you for having us. Just, so engineering excellence, that's the topic. Tell us how you define engineering excellence, because it can mean lots and lots of different things to different people, but tell us how you define it.
Yeah, absolutely. Engineering's an interesting word, and an interesting room to be in. I'm sure everyone has a different viewpoint on engineering, and wonderful to see so many passionate people turn up to engineering, and those who are listening as well. I think maybe just a little bit first about IAG and where we're at from an engineering perspective. We're a really old company, and for many years we've been bringing together brands and businesses, and we demutualized late in the 90s, and as a result we've had for a long time a number of different technologies across our ecosystem, some core platforms that are on different technology stacks, engineered in a slightly different way. And we as a team now have been on a journey for quite a few years of trying to actually really simplify our technology assets across our group. And we're really reaching a point where we're over the edge on the volume that we want to have on those simplified platforms. And from an engineering perspective, that gives us this exciting opportunity where we're moving from what I would describe as maybe some more traditional engineering practices, on-prem infrastructure or infrastructure as a service with partners, and looking at kind of apps constructed on top of that infrastructure in a more traditional way. And we're on a journey to move probably more predominantly to SaaS and software as a service based core assets for IAG as a group. And this opens this wonderful new opportunity for us from an engineering perspective. And I think in your question around what do we consider engineering excellence, I just wanted to give a little bit of that flavor, because for us, engineering excellence is about engineering the new stuff together really well, along with the heritage stuff which we're very proud and has run our business for many years, and making sure that through both of those asset bases, we move to the future and engineer for a great outcome for our customers, which is really where I think from an engineering excellence perspective, we are trying to focus. And excellence, I think for us, is focused about giving our customers value fast, giving them the experience that they need. I mentioned that we're quite a purpose-led organization, and really whenever you buy insurance as a customer, we want to be there for you when you need us the most, which is around largely the claims experience that you would have with us. And what we want to try and do is engineer for a great experience for our customers at that time of need, whether that be in a pure digital channel, from mobile perspective, or on our web, the various digital assets that you can interact with us. That goes for our partners, where we're doing business also, and engineering in our assisted experience, where you're working directly with us at that time of need, that we have great systems, great availability, and great experience for our people who are serving our customers. So that's really where we are focusing. And kind of putting that all together, engineering excellence, I think for us at IAG at the moment, is really about three things. It's about this next generation of application architecture, for want of a better phrase, and the way that we put these SaaS products together with the old and unlock value, decoupling, making our systems more modular, and allowing us to be faster to value through that software asset stack. Probably secondly is about how we actually deliver software delivery lifecycle through those software assets, how we're kind of making sure they're up to date, we're churning out new products, new features for those customer experiences, for our people and for our customers. So it's a major pillar of what we're considering engineering excellence. And then engineering for data safety, which I can talk a bit more about. We're really focused on trying to engineer an ecosystem that values the customer's data asset, which we are so proud to hold for our customers.
Yeah, brilliant. It's really interesting and lovely to hear IAG's purpose about focusing on our customers. Not surprisingly, AWS is part of Amazon that is also so passionate about focusing on its customers. So it's great to hear that that's the true purpose rather than just the engineering bit. but you're clearly passionate about it. But why are you so passionate about the sort of value that engineering can bring to IAG?
Yeah, personally very passionate as well, and we as an organization see it as a critical part of enabling our strategy and the next wave of our technical assets that enable our experience. I think just recapping, we have an ambition to be the leading digital general insurer in this region. And that requires us to provide just really, really good digital experiences for our customers and for our people. And not to kind of labor the point, but that is what our engineering is focused on. And we want to have agility in the way that IAG operates to provide those experiences to our customer and to the people that are servicing our customers. And engineering, the reason we're passionate about engineering is because we believe that the ability to be agile, to create value quickly in those processes and systems that are enabling that experience, engineering is the key to that secret, is the secret to that, that outcome, right? And we also, I think, have become aware that to rapidly adapt to changing market conditions, whether that be the uplifting expectations of our regulators, whether our customers are expecting new features and products, whether we want to provide a different experience to our customers and people, that adaptability and speed to provide that change in a safe way, engineering we see as the key practice, key sets of tools, key sets of processes that we need to embed really deep in our organization to be able to respond to those things.
And I mean, given the audience here today or virtually, the need to sort of sell why engineering is so good is probably less important for this crowd, but with your business stakeholders, the divisions, how do you sell the importance of engineering excellence around the organization?
Yeah, it's a constant focus for us. We have to do it regularly. I think, maybe the audience here might empathize with my situation where I run the integration stack for the company, and there would be some interactions I've had where people will say things like, well, what is an API? And you think, okay, well, let's start from the start here and explain actually these assets that we're engineering are about connecting and enabling really good business process, making sure that requirements can be fulfilled. So I think there's a balance between speaking with stakeholders who maybe don't necessarily understand technology and engineering in depth and helping them understand what technology and engineering can do for them and the outcomes that they want to achieve, and spending some time working with them to really bring to life what can be achieved. But actually, I think importantly, a big part of what you ask about in terms of champion engineering is about our own teams. So in technology, we've got a really significant engineering team at IAG. We've got sort of more than a couple of thousand people working in technology, many of which are engineers, and that is a really strong community, but they want to understand more about engineering, more about what's possible, what's available, and one thing we try and do is bring in new ideas from externals, from partners, from new tools, developments in the technology market, whether it be AWS themselves or other engineering tools, AI tools, which I'm sure everyone's very excited about. I think we're in the AI track here today, but yeah, it's about talking to that engineering community and letting the engineering community work with each other to educate and uplift, and really for us at IAG, those people that are passionate about engineering in our engineering community are the people who do what you've asked about. They go out and they champion how we can build new things in new ways, how we can implement different practices, and unlock new value fast for our organization.
We've got halfway through, and you've only mentioned AI once. You haven't mentioned generative AI, but probably worth just sort of reflecting on that. I know you guys did a wonderful hackathon in December that I think was really well received. But how you see engineering excellence and generative AI and AI more broadly sort of coming together and playing such an important role?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. I'm sure one we could sit here and speak with this group and others for a long time about. Obviously a really interesting time. You mentioned AI versus generative AI. whatever you want to call that, boring AI versus exciting AI, old AI, new AI, narrow AI, broad AI. It's a big topic of discussion in the industry at the moment, but honestly, from an engineering perspective, hugely exciting. Actually, I think my main observation of what we've got in front of us is two things. Developers, software engineers becoming a lot more effective and trying to be able to do way more than they were in the past, and I hope that the AI tools that are available will really help our engineers in our community do the things they want to do and help us add value faster. So that's really quite exciting from my perspective. The other thing that I think is really exciting and is a focus of mine is quality. Engineering quality, coverage, our ability to do things in a consistent way across a group like what IAG has is constantly challenged, and every time we have a new product or a new vulnerability, we need coverage. And one of the things I'm really excited about is the possibility of AI, and particularly generative AI, where we're seeing these augmentation tools for developers and engineers. That's helping us with coverage, with the ability to think about quality in a broader, higher bar sense, which is very important for an organization like ours. There's probably many other things we could debate about AI, but we're exploring and experimenting. I think you talked about us having a hackathon. We did a really comprehensive hackathon around the potential of generative AI a few months ago. We're continuing to do that. And as an organization, we're trying to enable experimentation in a safe way and allow really focused proof of concepts, proof of values, so that we can test and learn and understand risk parameters, quality and value at the same time.
Great. So, software engineering excellence is becoming more and more important. You hear a lot of companies talk about wanting to become tech companies or leaders in the digital play. So obviously really important time, more and more organizations are giving a lot more focus. You briefly mentioned the regulators. There's obviously a lot of discussion around should software engineering itself be a regulated industry, but as it relates to the regulators that you work with, IAG work with, they're obviously showing much more interest. There are a number of standards that are coming out which predominantly are focused on cyber standards, I describe it as, and data safety standards. But what are you seeing in that space, and how do you see that playing out? We really welcome engagement with the regulators. We have a number of regulators that we interact with, given that we do business in both New Zealand and Australia and across different lines of business. We always want to meet our regulatory obligations. That's kind of a no-brainer for IAG. That's a fundamental part of our ambition. And so we welcome a lot of open engagement with the regulators, a lot with APRA in Australia, and sort of proactive engagement around software development, engineering, new tools, new approaches, and how we're deploying those, as well as standards that they would expect that we meet. I think from a regulatory perspective, what the real focus is around operational resilience. And so in essence, really what we wanted to have is solid and secure assets that are operational resilient and highly available for the people of Australia and New Zealand. And you hear that a lot from APRA. That's what they want to focus on, is about making sure that the service we provide is operationally resilient and available. And engineering is a fundamental part of that, right? Being able to run technology assets and engineer them in a way that makes them highly available, highly operationally resilient is something that is hugely important for us, and the technologies available in the current day and age is just making that really possible. But I think you mentioned from a cyber perspective and from a data safety perspective, we're probably in the last couple of years, we're in a slightly different time, right? We've seen some pretty unprecedented cyber breaches and cyber activity, and the vulnerability landscape just seems to increase and increase. And that's both a challenge and an opportunity from an engineering perspective. Talking about some of the tools as we just have, the ability to actually address some of those challenges, the vulnerabilities, etc., it's becoming more possible with the tools and the accelerators that we have available to us. But actually, in reality, it's a continuous focus. At IAG, we talk a lot about data safety, and data safety encompasses
both cyber, our ability to detect and protect our assets. A big part of that is engineering, and then engineering into our operations, engineering for that resilience, and actually focusing on protecting, masking, making unavailable the data that we hold so true as one of the major assets of our company. And so we have a specific strategic focus on that subject.
Great. In order to make all these things come true and to continue your journey on engineering excellence, talent is front of mind. You talked about talent coming from your partner organizations, but we're in a room full of people that are either talented or lead talented teams or both. How are you thinking about talent? How do you attract and retain the very best talent in a market which is so competitive? How do you do that?
Yeah, well, if anybody wants to talk to me about an engineering role, or of course, so all joking aside, we're always on the lookout for talent from an engineering perspective. I think we think about it as an ecosystem, Matt, and we think about it as an ecosystem of skills and capabilities, tools, and as part of that, we have a focus on our internal team and making sure we're trying to build that engineering community that I talked about earlier. But for us, that has fairly blurry lines because we see a broader ecosystem at play. We see partners, we see people who maybe don't want to work permanently, want to kind of come and do something that's specifically focused. Obviously we work with partners, yourselves included, and we really value that different perspective and perhaps accessing skills that are not necessarily as geographically centric as perhaps our core organization is. We value experimenting with tools with companies, partners like AWS and other newer tools to try and see is there something new or different, and we tend to find there's talent that comes around that as well. So it's a bit of a blend and an ecosystem as we see it that we're constantly trying to evolve and add to, and we have people that come and go from that ecosystem, and we're very proud of our engineering skills internally with our partners and our alumni.
And one question actually, as the sector more broadly, the technology and the engineering sector continues to attract talent from different areas, your thoughts how we can continue to encourage female participation and really increase the mix that we've got? Clearly it's not where any of us would like it to be. Any thoughts on that?
That's a great question, Matt. Keen to hear your thoughts too.
Yeah.
Something that needs constant work. We need to really encourage everyone. I mean, females, not just females, we need to encourage everyone to experiment with new technologies and new approaches to engineering. I'm finding that the ability to self-learn and self-teach from an engineering perspective, you see really talented engineers are people who explore the market, explore different tools, self-teach, and we try to enable pretty much a sort of choose your own journey development for engineers in IAG, where you can focus on different parts and different skills. We try very hard to make sure that that's really available for our female colleagues. Our gender balance, we celebrate that a lot internally. We've done some formal things, which I wouldn't talk directly to, but we have some processes we've introduced in our recruitment to think through gender balance and gender diversity and how we can make sure that we're finding that right level of diversity for us as an organization. And senior leadership is very important to us from an engineering perspective. And we're very proud that we've got a really high percentage of our technology and engineering leaders female. And that we found that has had a positive impact on our gender balance, but I agree with you, it's not where any of us would want it to be. And something that we want to continue to work on and are always open to ideas on.
No, it's a commitment we all need to make and keep exploring it and discussing it, so we keep the forward trajectory the way we want it to be. Maybe we just like the last couple of minutes here. Great series of engineers here in the room, leaders of engineers. Any advice you'd have for them, closing advice you'd have for them in terms of, other than coming to connect with us afterwards to explore opportunities at IAG?
Yeah, come and have a conversation, and I think explore ideas, test and learn, experiment, try and help more people that are not engineers understand the potential and value from an engineering opportunity that we have in this current day and age. Be the champions for all of us and help us embed great technology experiences into Australian businesses, ourselves included, hopefully.
Brilliant. Andrew, I want to say thank you for being on stage here and talking about what you're leading at IAG and some of the great steps you guys are taking forward to embrace engineering excellence. Everyone that's here today in the room and virtually, thanks so much for joining us. This format doesn't allow for questions today in this session, but please feel free to connect to either of us on either LinkedIn or come and see us at the booth, the PwC booth after this, if you just want to come and have a chat, explore any of the topics we've discussed here today. But on behalf of us here on stage here today, thank you everyone, and thanks AWS for putting on the summit here today.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
What a fantastic session. Keep that round of applause going. Fantastic. We have Matthew Benwell, Andrew Alexander, PwC. Go check them out on the booth. Fantastic. We'll be starting the next session at 11:40. But what you will need to do, you will need to exit the room first. So everybody needs to exit the room so we can rescan your badges. We'll see you back here in 10 minutes. You all take care.